And he even says in this article that he describes week 3 as absolutely sucking. Because I genuinely think what you're trying to do is you're hitting these sort of upward of 20 reps. But on that 19th rep, you're meant to be going like this and absolutely struggling. Like if you're doing a bicep curl, for example. Simon Applewood, A-hole here, and today we're going to talk about professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling, you love professional wrestling, even people that pretend they don't love professional wrestling love professional wrestling. Not true, some people get so mad about it, I don't really understand. But we are going to talk about Roman Reigns, because he has been doing the rounds recently. No idea why, but I'm glad that he did, because he talked about his training and he talked about his diet, and these are the things that I enjoy the most. I want to know what every single wrestler is eating and training because I'm just that kind of a guy. So I'll start with his training, what he's actually doing in the gym, and he does the Y3T or Yoda 3 training, which I totally admit I'd never heard about before I started reading this article. It comes from Neil Hill. That's a horrible name, Neil. Sorry, I can't talk about it. Neil Hill, who apparently people call Yoda, and a famous face other than Roman Reigns that you may know who does it is Mr. Olympia 212. Flex Lewis do it. Now I had no idea what this was, but it is kind of interesting. Now, the idea behind it is that you always want to keep your body guessing. You must have heard that when people are talking about lifting weights. You never want to get in too much of a routine. So what Mr. Hill, as I'm now going to call him, has done is he has created like a 3-week program, which you cycle in and cycle out almost, where you're always attacking muscle groups and intensity levels and failure, blah, 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 in a bunch of different ways. So I've got the information up here because it's easier for me to tell you rather than just try and guess. During your week 1 of your Y3T, you go after your fast twitch fibers, and that means you're doing big explosive movements. Now, I had a plan somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so essentially week 1 and 4, because again, we're doing 3-week cycles, you're going heavy. So he has broken it down into day 1 is shoulders and calves, day 2 is tricep, biceps, arms, day 3 is quads and hams, day 4 is back and calves, gotta get those calves in, and day 5 in chest. And when you go through it, I mean, I would just give you the shoulders, for example. He's doing seated dumbbell presses, lateral raises, upright rows, and bent over lateral raise, I think that says. 3 sets on all of them, other than the upright rows, which is 2. He's doing 8 to 10 rep ranges, and he's only resting for a minute. And I'm going to presume you have to go heavy. Now, of course, you won't want to shake that up when you get to weeks 2 and 5, where you go medium, or at least he's called it medium. And we're still going after those fast twitch fibers, but now we are doing essentially lighter weights in a higher rep range. And it's the same split. It's still shoulders, calves, tricep, biceps, quads, hams, back, calves, chest. But again, if we go to shoulders, now we are doing 3 sets on everything, including the upright rows, but we're going into the 12 to 14 rep range, and we're resting for around about 2 minutes when before we were resting for 1 minute. And then week 3, you go to slow twitch fibers, which I'm sure you figured out. But here, he really pushes the idea of going for time under tension and basically doing every single lift as slow as you can. I mean, it's a little bit of exaggeration. Same thing, we haven't changed anything. We're doing the same split. We go to shoulders again, and we have dropped off a set of... Actually, sorry, we've changed some of the exercises, which we also did for the last one. I've only just realized. I'll get back to that in a second. So here we are doing lateral raises, cable front raises, power clean and press, and bent over lateral raise, 3 sets, and we are going way up to 16 to 20 reps, and we're doing 2 to 3 minutes rest. So essentially, you're trying to absolutely wear yourself out. And going back to week 2, because I screwed it up, yeah, we've added in a Smith machine press, and we've added in a front raise, and we've added in reverse pec deck. So it's all similar kind of stuff. And I do find it fascinating. I think if you're somebody that gets bored of a workout really, really quickly, this would be a great way to do it, especially because it doesn't just go, week 1, 2, 3, stop, repeat. Even when we get to week 7 and 10, and we've gone back to being heavy, we have changed up some of the exercises again. We've kind of kept the rep ranges and the rest the same, but there are always new things that you're incorporating, so that may get you excited. So whatever you did on Monday, week 1, by the time you get to Monday, week 4, even though you're still going after those fast twitch fibers, those slow twitch fibers, depending on the week, you will have a bunch of other stuff to do. So it is kind of fascinating. It is kind of interesting, and this is what Roman Reigns has decided to take on. And he even says in this article that he describes week 3 as absolutely sucking, because I genuinely think what you're trying to do is you're hitting these sort of upward of 20 reps, but on that 19th rep, you're meant to be going like this and absolutely struggling. Like if you're doing a bicep curl, for example, you're just not going to be able to do it. So again, not something that I was overly familiar with. Absolutely sounds like something that you could incorporate if you are struggling to make gains or you're struggling to progress at the moment. Always remember, if you are seeing results and you're happy, keep doing what you're doing. Of course, you always need to be ahead of the game. You don't want to get to the point where you go, oh man, I should have changed it up a couple of weeks earlier. But what I find most people do when it comes to programs, they do it for like 2-3 weeks. They don't see anything. Oh, it can't be working. Give it 8 weeks at least, right? 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even 10, and then kind of look back and go, is it working? Is it not working? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? But I think I'll probably try it at some point. Hopefully we'll try and do a video on it. I still need to get back to those. And also, Roman says for him specifically, it helps him focus on power and strength while kind of keeping his body the same. Because again, he's a WWE superstar, and they want some kind of continuity, I suppose, with their characters. Like, you don't want Roman Reigns to one day come out and look really small, and on the flip side, you don't want it to come out one day and look really bulky. That's the Roman Reigns you want, right? They're meant to be cartoon characters, superheroes, and so on and so forth. What I really like, though, and I implore you to read it, it's on Men's Health. I can't remember if I mentioned that. He even talks about the fact that sometimes he don't want to go to the gym. Like, he doesn't want to do it. And as I've said time and time again, it doesn't matter what kind of shape someone's in. Nobody wakes up every single day and goes, oh man, I can't wait to go to the gym. Because even he said he had that triple threat match with Big E and Bobby Lashley a couple of weeks ago. And due to that, when he wakes up the next day and he's feeling sore and he's feeling battered, he's feeling bruised, do I want to go into the gym? No. But once he finds his flow, you're like, okay, cool, we can now get on with it. And he says right here, you hit that first failure set, and again, I don't want to do this anymore. But it's just one of those things where you have to have that mental toughness. And even when you don't have that mental toughness or that motivation, you have to find that discipline of why. That's the anchor. Why are you doing this? Really, really good advice. I also, again, always sort of put out there that, you know, if you don't want to go to the gym and usually do an hour and 20, just go there and do half an hour, 40 minutes, and you'll finish your workout anyway because you're already there. But that's another good way to do it as well. Remind yourself of what the goal is. Doesn't matter if you go to the gym and you just can't find that 100% intensity. You can nail that tomorrow. Today you do 75. He talks a little bit about cardio as well. I mean, he doesn't really have to worry about cardio and conditioning too much because he's wrestling all the time. But he basically breaks it up into like an hour a day, and they do 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, or 40 minutes here and 20 minutes there. He is doing steady state cardio. Oh no, kill him, because again, I think he's getting all his hit cardio from wrestling. I mean, I do wrestling, and trust me, there is no better hit cardio than that because you're up, down, up, down, up, down. So he doesn't want to overdo it because obviously he would potentially be putting his body in a state where it's just knackered all the time. Because when you are doing high intensity training, interval training, you should be pushing it so hard that your body is going to be under a certain amount of stress. And if you then go to the gym and put it under more stress, yes, you could run the risk of overtraining. It's very, very slight, but it is a real thing. He has a cheat meal too. The last one, or at least the last one he talked about here, was after SummerSlam when he had 3 pizzas waiting. So Roman Reigns had a great evening that day, but he also talks about his diet, and it's exactly what you think it would be. He even says it's super boring. I stick to the old school traditional stuff because that's just what I like. I mean, here he talks about having a poke bowl, which is just rice, some ahi tuna, some avocado, and some cucumber, and sometimes he has a bit of soy sauce in there. But, you know, he just talks about how he has to eat clean and he has to stay lean. And I imagine he probably is doing chicken rice green, chicken rice broccoli. You don't have to do that, though. No, there are ways to spice up your diet. But if that works for him, and that's what motivates him, and that's what keeps him in the discipline range that he needs to be, that's what you should do. I sometimes like chicken and rice. Don't tell anyone because they go crazy. I think it's quite nice. He says, I mean, the best quote is here. He goes, pretty basic stuff, and I try to keep it simple. And that way, there's that process of elimination where you can start cutting things or minimizing things to see how it affects you, how you're feeling, or what you're looking like from day to day. In the morning, it's either some oats or cream of rice with some egg whites. I mean, standard, right? We throw some beets in there to help blood flow. Good thing to do. I do that sometimes. You should try it. And to drive the workouts each day. And then once we get into the standard meals, I mean, it's chicken and rice, steak and rice, the stuff you've heard of before of any blog at all. Nothing sexy, maybe some bison. Just throws the bison in there. And he says we've taken down my fats a little bit. So most of my fats are coming through animal fat, through the protein, and then maybe a little almond butter at night with a protein shake before bed. I wish it was something different and more creative, but it's best to keep it simple. So that is what works for Roman Reigns. He's having the oats and the egg whites, and he's going to have chicken rice, like I've already said. And it's working for him. Maybe you want to do the chicken wraps and the popcorn and the protein ice cream. That's also good. There's no right or wrong with this. I mean, there is. The wrong is eating cheeseburgers and pizzas and not understanding why you're losing weight, but you still have to do that. Again, Roman Reigns had 3 after SummerSlam. And I really, really do appreciate his honesty, because sometimes you read it and you're like, are you actually doing this? Or have you just come up with the cool thing of the day to kind of make it interesting? Not Roman Reigns, straight like an arrow. One of my favorites as well is the fact that he talks about the fact he's always changing it up, and where he says, if you're going too lean and you're under on your nutrition and your performance and your energy levels and what you're asking your body to do in the ring, you may not be the standard that you need. But he then compares that to when he did that Hobbs and Shaw movie with The Rock, where he's like, if you know you have a shirtless movie day, you can then adjust your diet and adjust your training for that very day, because you know it's going to be massively different filming in front of a camera than it would be having to be a wrestler in front of a live audience. And I think that's something that we can all take inspiration from, I suppose, because sometimes people don't know what they want to do when they're cutting, they don't know what to do with their bulking, and again, there are far more varying degrees of this, but always keep that overall goal in mind. If you are trying to put on muscle, then sure, that's what you're trying to get bigger, and if you're trying to get up, technically you're trying to get smaller, although that's kind of a blurry way to put it. But it's always good to have those overall goals in your health. The smaller goals, the ones that will keep you motivated. But again, I think keeping it simple is the best way. And if it worked for Roman Reigns, it can work for you. Roman Reigns, Roman. He also says, success leaves clues. It's not like it just came out of nowhere. I like that. Success leaves clues. It makes me want to put on a hat and get a pipe and some detective glasses and go and try and figure it out. So yeah, boom. Roman Reigns' diet, Roman Reigns' training plan. I think the Yoda thing, the 3YD, whatever the hell it was called, is far more interesting than his diet. But it's good to know that he's doing both of these things. Maybe you want to go try the Y3D thing. But again, read about it first, educate yourself, research it, see if it works for you. If it sounds like hell on earth and you're not going to enjoy it, don't do it. It's a waste of time. You'll be bored within 4 days and you'll be off doing something else. And that's not the point. When you dedicate yourself to a program, you need to see it through. And it's worked for Roman. He's now the Universal Champion for well over a year because it was August 2020. So it's like 14 months. He's doing pretty well. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Get the bell ding ding so you know when other videos are going live. There is another video on the screen. Please do give it a click. If you want to support on patreon.com/Simon316, you can. On Instagram and Twitter at SimonMiller316. I mean, Greg Dissett's new cookbook. If you want, some more, I suppose, fancy meals that are also healthy for you, all the information is in the description below. I'm on Cameo. If you would like a birthday shout out, that's always fun. Did I say merchandise? Simon@bigcartel.com? Probably, but you got it twice. Either way, make sure you have a good day. Kick some ass, and I'll see you soon.